What if persecution wasn't chaos, but a checklist? 10 moves in order to strip a person of faith, kin, and history. Across today's crises, advocates warn of systemic pressure, and analysts caution how blunt responses can harden the ground. In this video, we map the blueprint. How control starts with need, moves through the mind, and ends in the archive, where names vanish. Watch for the step that looks like care, but cuts the deepest. Number 1, forced conversion through starvation and aid denial. Relief lines look orderly. The ledger at the end says pledge first, rations after. Aid turns into a lever. A bag of grain sits behind a form that asks for a renunciation, a new name, or proof you sat through a service that is not yours. Gatekeepers log attendance slips like receipts, and the slip opens the storeroom. In some conflict zones, reports describe aid politicized by creed, with trucks rerouted and shelters reserved for those who sign. Rights monitors track access for compliance schemes, noting how blockades raise famine risk and how identity shifts follow the food. Here's the quiet trick. Coercion leaves no bruises, just empty bellies and signatures that read like consent. The body yields first. The record claims choice. On paper, conversion looks tidy, like a box checked on a form, and the ration number printed neat below it. Number 2, children separated from parents for re-education. A bus arrives labeled school. Parents sign a clipboard, thinking safety, not severance. Inside, the syllabus swaps math for memory. New prayers replace bedtime ones. New heroes crowd out elders, and new holidays overwrite the family calendar. Child protection reports describe how separation breaks rituals at the root. No shared meals, no home tongue, no night blessing. Language bans seal the switch, and indoctrination modules present one creed as cure. In this climate, where jihad spreading from country to country meets weak safeguards, groups rise bolder. Abduction and training camps run like a grim workshop, turning belief into a uniform. Custody stretches from weeks into ongoing care. So-called de-radicalization classes drift into faith erasure. Studies tie prolonged separation to deep stress and identity fracture, especially in young children. When reunions come, the child corrects the parent's words. The home voice yields to the camp voice. Number 3, secret prisons for belief crimes. No charge sheet, no trial, a van, a blindfold, an address that does not exist. Inside these sites, prayer notes become exhibits, and silence earns more silence. Unofficial facilities dodge oversight by staying off maps and budgets, run by units that deny custody when asked. Patterns repeat like a grim routine. Indefinite holds, sleep-starved interrogations, and statements signed after days without counsel. Human rights inquiries describe black sites and enforce disappearances as tools that chill whole communities. When someone vanishes for belief, neighbors stop meeting, and families stop asking questions in public. The risk spreads like cold air through a tent, thin but everywhere, and worship bends to avoid the draft. When records resurface, files praise self-correction and close the case. The missing return as data points, not neighbors, and the ledger looks orderly again. Number 4, women targeted through forced marriages. A ceremony is staged as protection. A ring doubles as a shackle. Marriage turns into a tool. It transfers lineage, faith, and labor without open bloodshed. Patterns show an abduction to marriage pipeline that moves fast. A disappearance, a coerced ceremony, and a conversion filed the same day. Paperwork dresses control as care, wrapped in dowry talk or rehabilitation labels that promise safety and deliver custody. The language sounds polite. The outcome is permanent. Gendered violence research explains the lock. A forced union rewrites identity on ID cards, marriage ledgers, and birth records. Children inherit the new creed as if born into it, and the switch hardens across generations. Community standing shifts. Access to aid, schooling, and work is tied to the new status. The state stamps it lawful, and the registry updates quietly. The woman's original faith leaves the page without a scene. If marriages rewrite the future, cemeteries erase the past. Number 5. Destruction of cemeteries to erase ancestry. Bulldozers arrive at dawn. Stones fall, and so do the names. The dead cannot protest. Their absence edits the living. No graves, no lineage, no proof. Families lose the anchor that ties stories to soil, like a museum label pulled from a display. The object remains, but meaning drifts. Tactics look routine on paper. Cemetery plowing under cleanup, headstone removal for safety, and redevelopment claims that rebrand a burial ground as a park, a road, a block of flats. Cultural heritage law sets duties to safeguard burial sites, and precedents warn that erasing graves undermines minority histories. When markers vanish, so do records that courts and councils use to test land claims, kinship, and ritual rights. The loss widens beyond faith into property and memory. Number 6. Bans on names, clothing, and religious symbols. A child's name is flagged at school. A pendant is counted as contraband. The dress code reads like policy, but the aim is grammar. It rewrites the language of self by trimming letters, swapping scripts, and stripping garments that carry meaning. Restrictions on names, clothing, and insignia push identity off the street and into hiding. ID systems reject certain spellings or scripts, so records split families across forms, and services stall when the database refuses the person in front of it. Civil liberties research warns that bans on symbolic speech scale fast. A small rule at the gate becomes a barrier to jobs, exams, and clinics. Employers avoid the flagged. Schools send kids home. Transit staff look past the person who won't remove the pendant. Number 7. Surveillance inside places of worship. The light above the doorway is new. The sermon sounds cautious. Microphones and informants turn the hall into a listening room. Attendance lists double as watch lists, and a missed week draws a call that feels official. Permit regimes set rules for hours, speakers, and themes, and a camera network watches the entrance like a turnstile. Some pulpits need pre-approval for sermons, trimmed to fit a safe script, trimmed again when a line sounds bold. Monitoring state analyses show the chill. People edit prayers, then avoid topics, then avoid each other. Theology shifts to cliches, like an exhibit label rewritten so many times it says nothing. Infiltration plants a helpful voice in the pews who reports tone, faces, and phrases. Number 8. Psychological torture disguised as counseling. The room looks kind. Soft chairs. A tray of tea. The session is voluntary. Therapy words frame the threat. Behavior charts track prayer like a symptom, while sleep is clipped to break resolve, and confession drills reward denial and punish doctrine. Sensory disruption does the quiet work. Bright light, cold air, timed music. Group denunciations push people to recite set lines about error, then applaud insight. Each nod earns a pass, a snack, a phone call. Trauma research on coercive persuasion warns that control wrapped in care can reshape speech first, belief later. Mental health language is misused like a stage prop. Clinical terms lend cover to an exam that grades compliance. Rewards arrive for correctness, and access shrinks when a verse slips out. Number 9. Mandatory loyalty oaths against faith. A form sits on a desk. A job, a license, a ration. Each one waits behind one pledge. The oath does not ask belief. It asks denial, like insurance against dissent. drafted in clean prose and stamped as routine. Livelihoods hinge on a signature that renounces creed in public words. Those who abstain meet the quiet wall. Their names drift onto informal blacklists, and doors close for spouses, for children, for anyone tied to the file. Constitutional analyses warn about compelled speech, noting how state power can force mouths to move while stripping choice from the message. Historical parallels show pledge regimes that sorted citizens by creed, then squeezed the targeted until silence looked like compliance. The database records your compliance. After enough cycles, refusal reads as treason, not conscience. Public renunciation sets the stage for the final cut. Private prayer outlawed. Number 10. Criminalizing prayer in private homes. The knock comes at night. The charge sheet cites a whisper. Home was the last refuge, but the line moves. Small gatherings are rebranded as cells, and a living room is treated like a hall. Local rules do the work. Ordinances that ban unregistered meetings, curfews framed as noise control, and permits that never get approved. Tip lines invite neighbor reports, so a hymn becomes a complaint, then a raid. It runs like a house check, but it reads like a dragnet. Civil rights documentation warns how private worship bans complete the circle. No place is safe, no time is allowed, and no words pass without risk. The method is administrative, not theatrical, like roping off a side street until the map forgets it. When a prayer turns into a crime scene, erasure is total. Even the thought feels surveilled.